निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Vishnupada Paramansa Parivrajakatareshtottara Satashri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat Paramansa Parivrajakatarishtottara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Hare Krishna. So, I've been asked to speak a little bit on Mahabharata, the famous epic which we are all familiar with on account of, not because we are well versed in the scriptures, but because of the many TV serials that have been made. So we know something about Mahabharata because of all of that. Generally, when we look at all these versions of the Mahabharata, we get the understanding that superficially, the Mahabharata war was waged because of the dispute, land dispute. One set of cousin brothers, they wanted the kingdom for themselves. Another set of brothers wanted it for themselves. That was the reason for the fight to happen between the two parties, between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. On a superficial level, yes, definitely it was for the rulership of the kingdom. It was for deciding who will be the ruler, who will be the emperor. That was the superficial reason. If we dig a little deeper, if we look at how the Pandavas and how Yudhishthira especially, what his approach was all through his life. If we look at when after their 12 years of forest exile and 1 year of living incognito, they all came back. And when having fulfilled all the conditions of the game of dice which they had lost, they asked for their kingdom back. So Duryodhana refused to give the kingdom. Now which kingdom was Duryodhana referring to and which kingdom were they asking back? The Pandavas were not asking the rulership or the throne of Hastinapura. Actually, Hastinapura was supposed to be ruled by the Pandavas. Dhritarashtra being disqualified for being the king, he was temporarily ruling over Hastinapura. And when the Pandavas would grow up, they were supposed to get the throne. When the Pandavas grew up and they asked Dhritarashtra, they approached Dhritarashtra and told him that now we are grown up, we are Kshatriyas, we need a land to rule over. Kindly tell us what we should do. Dhritarashtra very joyfully immediately said, oh yes, come, I'll make you a king. And then he coronated them as Yudhishthira Maharaj as the king of not Hastinapura. He said, go to Khandavaprastha. What is Khandavaprastha? Khandavaprastha is nothing but a forest. No inhabitation, no cities, no villages, nothing was there. But the Pandavas did not complain. They said, Arey, what are you talking? you go to Indraprastha, you hand over in Hastinapura to us. They could have said, and they were in all their rights to do that. But Yudhishthira Maharaj chose to give respect to Dhritarashtra, his age and all those kind of things, and he said, okay, I accept whatever you are giving. So they were satisfied with that. And the Pandavas went there, and by Krishna's arrangement, a beautiful city, Indraprastha, was built, and it became a flourishing city, much more opulent than Hastinapura itself. So that was something which Duryodhana could not digest. So when Duryodhana happened to see Indraprastha, when he came for the Rajasuya Yajna, Duryodhana wanted that, he started coveting that. I want that also. I have Hastinapura, not enough, I want Indraprastha also. And that is how the whole game of dice was arranged, and the Pandavas lost that game of dice. And so when they came back from the exile, they were asking, please give back Indraprastha to us. They did not ask for Hastinapura. Duryodhana was not ready to give even that to them. So, what was the reaction of the Pandavas when they heard that the Kauravas are not ready to give back the kingdom, return the kingdom which is rightfully theirs, which they built, they put it up, they did all the, built it from scratch and made it into a flourishing city, all the hard work they did. So, but the Kauravas were refusing to return it. So then, there was a whole discussion that Yudhishthira Maharaj had with Krishna and with the rest of his brothers and all those, and with Draupadi, about what is the action they should take. What should we do now? Yudhishthira Maharaj told Lord Krishna that, Krishna, I don't want to choose war. I don't want war, because it will bring untold suffering. So Krishna replied to Yudhishthira that the choice is not yours whether to go to war or not. That choice has to be made by Dhritarashtra. This one is very clear. We need our kingdom back. If they don't give the kingdom back, that means they are choosing to go to war. You are not going to choose. You are not the person to choose. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, still, I am not convinced that we should go to war. Then Krishna offered, I will go as a messenger of peace from your side. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, no, you are the Supreme Lord. How can you go? You cannot become our messenger. Krishna said, no, I will go myself. Don't worry. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj told Krishna, okay, Krishna, if you are going, do one thing. Whatever condition is required, they ask, whatever terms and conditions they put to avoid war, please accept. Even if they tell that they will not give Indraprastha, but they will give something smaller, accept, no problem. Let us avoid war. If they tell no, let us play another game of dice, I am ready for that also. So this was Yudhishthira's offer. Krishna said that, my dear Yudhishthira, you are being too lenient. You cannot go so soft. And then Krishna went as a messenger to Hastinapura. And when Krishna presented the message of peace, Duryodhana did not accept. He said, Shuchyagra, even the tip of a pin for you to keep land, that much land also I will not give you. Krishna offered 5 villages, just 5 villages give. That is enough. Not even Hastinapura, not even Indraprastha, just 5 villages you give. He said, Shuchyagra, even the tip of a pin, that much land you can, even that much land where you can keep the tip of a pin, even that much I will not give. So then war became unavoidable. So we can see there in the way the Pandavas dealt with the situation and with how Yudhishthira Maharaj was trying at all costs to get peace, that really it was not a question of whether they have to get the throne of Hastinapura or not. It was a question of dharma. According to dharma, a king has to rule according to dharma. the king has to be the most selfless personality, because he has to protect the interests of the citizens. In the case of Duryodhana, Duryodhana had got the kingdom by cheating, and he was coveting others' kingdom, and he was refusing to return the kingdom which rightfully belonged to somebody else. So, on all these counts, Duryodhana was unqualified to be the king. If he had such a disposition that he was ready to cheat, he was ready to deny the rights of others, then how will he think of the welfare of the citizens? His ruling will not be good for the citizens. And therefore Krishna decided that if Duryodhana continues to be the king, there will be adharma. All the citizens will also follow his path. They will say, they will point, our king, he has done like this. He has cheated and he has denied other people's rights. So we can also do. What is there? As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yad yad acharati shreshtas tat devetaro janaha. Whatever the leading people, the leaders of society, whatever example they set, the common man follows. So Duryodhana, one man, he would destroy the moral fabric of the entire society. So therefore, according to the rules of dharma, to preserve dharma, it became essential that the fight happen and Duryodhana be displaced. So this is the little deeper understanding of why the battle of Kurukshetra had to happen. It was not just a matter of property alone. But it doesn't stop there. There is an even deeper understanding. When we, in the Vaishnava, when we come to the shelter of the Vaishnava Siddhanta, we understand that there is an even deeper understanding to this. There is an even deeper reason why the Kurukshetra war had to happen. What happened was when the game of dice happened, and the Pandavas lost in the game of dice, and they had to go to the forest in exile. They gave up the Indraprastha and they went to the forest. And they were wearing tree barks and deer skin for clothes. Naturally, when they are living in the forest, they don't have access to go to the shops and buy silk and cotton cloth and all those kind of things. So they have to do with whatever is in the forest. So they were wearing tree barks, deer skin and such stuff, and they were living a very frugal life. So once when the news reached Krishna in Dwaraka that like this, the Pandavas have lost the kingdom and they have had to go to the forest, then Krishna came with Satyabhama to meet the Pandavas. So when Krishna saw how the Pandavas are living in the forest, and then Arjuna met Krishna and told him what all had transpired. And at that time, because Krishna was fighting with Shalva in Dwaraka, Shalva was a king who was a friend of Dantavakra, Shishupala, because Shishupala had been killed by Krishna in that Rajasuya Yajna of Yudhishthira. So when Dantavakra Shalva heard that Shishupala, his friend, had been killed, so he attacked Dwaraka. So Krishna went from Indraprastha, where the Rajasuya Yajna had just got completed, and he went to Dwaraka and he got engaged with Shalva in a big fight. And after fighting with Shalva, then Dantavakra came and attacked, then Viduratha came and attacked. So Krishna got busy with all these things. And so that's how, when the game of dice happened, Krishna was unavailable. So Krishna said, I got caught up with all these people, otherwise I would have come running to your place, I would have done something, I would have dissuaded Dhritarashtra from doing all this to you. But unfortunately, all this has happened. And then Draupadi also told what all had happened in that assembly where Duryodhana and Karna and others tried to disrobe her and all that. So at that moment, Krishna told Draupadi that for this offense by Dushyasana and by Duryodhana of trying to insult you, of trying to defile your honor, I promise you that all the wives of all these great warriors, they will all become widows. So actually, it was at that moment that the fate of the Kauravas was sealed. In fact, when Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he was telling Krishna that let us try not to get into war and let us be happy with whatever they give, even if they ask for another game of dice, we are ready. When Yudhishthir Maharaj was speaking like that, Krishna got very angry. And he said, you might have forgotten, but I cannot forget what happened with Draupadi. In that assembly, all those people were sitting and watching. When Draupadi was being tried to be disrobed, what did they do? Nothing they did. Only they were telling something, talking something. Nobody took any action. And so therefore I have decided none of them should survive. So it was Krishna's decision that none of the Kauravas should survive only because they tried to dishonor Draupadi. Why? Because, so now, I was discussing the other day with one gentleman who had, who was a visitor here, about how in the battle of Kurukshetra, the real reason for the battle of Kurukshetra was saving the honor of Draupadi. Because of the honor of Draupadi was insulted, therefore the battle of Kurukshetra happened and all the Kauravas got killed. So the gentleman raised a pertinent question. He said, did that act warrant the death of so many people? Was it really so serious? So actually, if you see, in the Vedic tradition, the honor of a woman was held so highly that if anybody tried to insult the honor of a woman, then the punishment which is given is death punishment. Same thing happened with Ravana also. He tried to abduct Sita Devi, and simply because he abducted Sita Devi, he and whoever supported him were all killed by Lord Ramachandra. So, in the Vedic tradition, the honor of a woman was so highly esteemed. There was the highest punishment would be accorded to anyone who would try to insult the honor of a woman. So this culture was very strong. Although that might have been true, still the reason for Krishna's anger, we have to understand, is not just that a woman's honor was insulted. So we can also argue that, okay, a woman's honor is insulted, but that does not mean you engage in such a fratricidal war where so many hundreds and thousands of people are killed. So it might seem a little unjustified. So going further deeper into the reason for the Kurukshetra war, why Krishna got so angry, we have to understand there is a pastime of what happened in Vaikuntha. It so happened, all of you must be conversant with this pastime. It so happened that Brahma's 4 sons, who are known as the Sanatkumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat, Sanatana. These were the 4 sons of Brahma, born from Brahma's mind. And these personalities, the Sanatkumaras, were highly self-realized souls. So they, because of their self-realization, they wanted to obtain mukti, liberation. And they reasoned amongst themselves, the 4 brothers reasoned among themselves, that if we grow up, then what will happen is the forces of kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsarya, the forces of anger, greed, lust, all these things will attract our heart very strongly. So better we always remain as small children. Let us not grow up. We know how the hearts of children are generally very unaffected by lust, greed, etc. Even if it is there, it will be very small compared to adults. Adults are supposed to be more mature and supposed to be more responsible and all that. But if you see the way adults take decisions based on kama, krodha, lobha, etc., you feel children are always much better. So they decided, let us remain as children, so that the force of kama, krodha, etc. will not have influence over our hearts. So they chose, and they had the yogic power by which they retained their bodies of small children. So these four Sanatkumaras, they were going around, and self-realized souls, they were wandering all over the universe, and once while going across the universe, they came to the doorstep of Vaikuntha. When they came to the doorstep of Vaikuntha, they said, "Oh, we have come to Vaikuntha. Let us go and have darshan of Lord Narayana." And so they started walking into Vaikuntha. When they started walking into Vaikuntha, there were two doorkeepers. What was the name of the doorkeepers? Jaya and Vijaya. So this Jaya and Vijaya saw four children are walking in. They said, hey, where are you going? This is not the place for you. Move. So they stopped the four Sanatkumaras, not understanding how exalted sages they were. So the four Sanatkumaras, they looked at them and they said, "Who are you people? Who are you people who are stopping us? This is not the mood of Vaikuntha-vasis. Vaikuntha-vasis always want to encourage people, encourage the devotees of Vishnu, Narayana to come and have his darshan and render devotional service to him. But you people are preventing the devotees from having darshan of the Lord. This is not the mood of Vaikuntha-vasis. This is some other mood. You guys have, something has spoiled your brain. So since you have lost the mood of Vaikuntha, you no more deserve to be in Vaikuntha. Better you go to the material world. You fall down to the material world." Like this, they cursed Jaya and Vijaya. The moment Jaya and Vijaya heard this, they understood, oh, these people, we thought they are some small kids. They are not. They are not so. They are looks like they are exalted sages. Immediately they started repenting. They offered their obeisances and they begged forgiveness. And the four Kumaras, they also thought suddenly, what happened? Why did we get angry? They are after all doing their duty only. It was not appropriate of us to have done this. Like this, they were also feeling a little unhappy. By then, news reached Narayana. Some incident has happened. There is some halla gulla happening at the main gate. And somebody has come and the gatekeepers have stopped and security has stopped them. And these people are creating hangama. They have cursed this, that. So Narayana came rushing himself to the gate. And when he came to the gate, the four Kumaras prayed to Narayana, "Oh Narayana, we made a big mistake. Out of, like this it happened. And we got angry and we cursed Jaya and Vijaya. So we are feeling very bad that we did something wrong." Then Narayana told them, no, whatever you have done is appropriate. So they were puzzled. How is what we did appropriate? Then Narayana told them, "Chindyam swabahumapi yadi pratikula vrittim." He said, "You people are my devotees. And I have such respect, such love for my devotees, that even if my own arm were to raise against my devotees, I would not hesitate to chop off my hand." This was Narayana's response. So can you imagine that? Do we, when we love somebody, if somebody does any harm to our loved ones, what we'll do? What will we say? At least we may not do, but we will say, "I will cut off his hand. I'll break his legs. I'll show him what I am," right? So will we love anyone so much that not only will we cut off others, and if our hand rises, we are ready to cut off our hand also? So much do we love anyone? That much we don't love anyone, right? But Narayana is saying, I love my devotees so much. If my own hand were to rise against my devotees, I will not hesitate to cut off my hand. This is the love of Narayana for his devotees. He loves the devotees so intensely. This is the love of Krishna for his devotees. So imagine a devotee, Draupadi of Krishna. She is such a great devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. Her honor is insulted. Will Krishna keep quiet? Krishna was filled with anger that how Duryodhana and Karna and all these people, how dare they sully the honor of my devotee. So he decided that I will not leave them. So therefore, we have to understand that the whole battle of Kurukshetra was actually an outcome of the love of Krishna for his devotee. So this is the real, actual reason for the whole Kurukshetra war to happen. And we can see how Krishna constantly was guiding the Pandavas all through the battle of Kurukshetra. Again, why? Because of his love for his devotees. In fact, in the beginning of before the battle of Kurukshetra started, when the whole thing was announced that there is going to be a battle between the two parties, both Duryodhana and Arjuna arrived at Krishna's doorstep to ask him for help. Now, because both of them were present, so Krishna said, both of you are my relatives. So I'll do one thing. Since both of you have to come, I have to give both of you something. I cannot send any of you empty-handed. So one side, my Narayani Sena, the Yadava army, fully powerful, equipped, all, so many Akshauhinis, all of them, they are on one side. On the other side, I am there. Unarmed, I will not pick up any arms. I will just be as a friend of one of the parties. So you choose who you want. My entire battle, my entire Yadava army battle ready, or me who will be unarmed and will not take up any arms. So the first choice went to Arjuna. He asked Arjuna, you decide first what you want. Arjuna, without batting an eyelid, he said, no problem. You don't take any arms. You just be there beside me. That's enough. I don't want anything else. And Duryodhana, when he heard this, he maintained a bland face, but internally he was laughing. What a fool Arjuna is. He is taking Krishna who is refusing to take up any arms. Something, is gone off his head. Anyway, what to do? Okay. Anyway, you have left the army, so I will take. And he took the army and he went. So after Duryodhana left, Krishna looked at Arjuna and he said, Arjuna, I think you made a mistake. Why did you choose me? My entire army was there. I gave you the first choice. You should have taken my army. No, why did you choose me? And that too, I am not going to lift any weapons. Arjuna said, Krishna, in this whole world, I want only you. I don't want anything else. If you are there, everything is there for me. I don't want kingdom. I don't want army. I don't want anything. I just want only you. This is the love of a devotee. So Krishna replied, okay, Arjuna, I am sold out to you. I will ensure that you have victory. So, like this, Krishna gave his word that he will not lift any weapons in the battlefield. But still, Krishna said, okay, now I will not lift any weapon in the battlefield. But Krishna said, I will become your charioteer. And that is how Krishna became Paratha Sarathi. He became the Sarathi, he became the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, when the battle of Kurukshetra started in full earnest, both parties are fighting and the battle is going on. So, Duryodhana thought, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita also, Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya and he tells him that look at the two armies, so Dronacharya, their army, the army of the Pandavas, is handled by Bhima. What is Bhima? He is nothing. In comparison to you and Bhishma Dev, you are all such great generals. Bhima is a fig in front of you. He is nothing. So Duryodhana was under the impression, very quickly the war will get over. On the Pandavas side, who is there? Very few people are there and one small army, which is almost half the size of my army. And my army is almost double the size of the Pandavas. And on my side, there are such great generals, Bhishma, Drona, Karna. So, all not ordinary warriors. So, he thought, this will not last long. Quickly will get over. But that didn't happen. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, war is going on. And both of them are equally placed. So, Duryodhana started getting a little jittery. Things were not going the way he was expecting. So, one of the days after the battle had started in the evening, the battle had stopped and they were all the warriors were resting in their camps. Then Duryodhana called Bhishma Dev to his camp and he said, Bhishma Dev, you are the commander-in-chief, you are leading our army, but you are very partial to the Pandavas. I know your power, I know your ability. You are somebody who defeated Parashurama, not an ordinary personality. So, you are being unable to defeat the Pandavas, I am not able to digest. So, you are purposely not defeating them. Bhishma Dev said, you fool, you don't understand. On the Pandavas side, there is Krishna on their side. If 100 of me also come, we cannot win the battle. Why are you not understanding this? Duryodhana, no, I don't accept this argument. It's all, Krishna is not going to lift any weapon. How can he stop this, that? And he started complaining. So then Bhishma Dev said, okay, so you are saying that I am being partial? That I am purposely not defeating the Pandavas? So this is a great insult to my honor. So he picked out 5 arrows and see, he said, I am earmarking these 5 arrows for the 5 Pandavas. Tomorrow in the battlefield, I will use each of these arrows for one of the Pandavas, and by the end of the day, all the 5 Pandavas will be finished. And Duryodhana was like, ye hui na baat, now, this is now maja aega. And then Duryodhana thought, but then Bhishma Dev is an old man. Yes, he is a powerful warrior, no doubt, and he has given his word, means he will keep it. But suppose in his old age, senility, he might go and misplace the arrow somewhere. Or somebody might come and steal. And what will happen? Then his vow will get broken. So, very important to keep these 5 arrows very safely, because this will decide the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra. So, Duryodhana said, okay, Bhishma Dev, you please give these 5 arrows to me. I'll keep it safely with me. And tomorrow in the morning, I'll hand it over to you. Bhishma Dev said, okay, take what is there, keep, no problem. So he handed over. Now, Krishna, Duryodhana did not calculate Krishna's presence in the equation. Krishna is there as Paramatma in everyone's heart. Krishna knows everything that has happened and what is going to happen, past, present, future. Nothing is hidden from Krishna. So Krishna called Arjuna. There is one crisis. Arjuna said, what happened? Krishna told him what has happened. 5 arrows, they have been earmarked. And if Bhishma Dev gets his hand on it tomorrow morning, he will keep his vow. You and I cannot do anything. So Arjuna said, now what to do? Then Krishna reminded Arjuna. Long back when they had started the Vanavasa, when they were living in the forest, Duryodhana had come to the forest with a big retinue, with the intention that the Pandavas are all in the forest, they are living in great distress. Let me go there with all my servants and all that. I will show off how I am enjoying life and see, look at them. So Duryodhana wanted to show off, and he wanted to take pleasure from that, sadistic pleasure. So he came to the forest with a big retinue and put up a camp close to where the Pandavas were also staying. Now it so happened that due to some other reason, some Gandharvas also came to the forest and they picked up a fight with the Kauravas. And Duryodhana was there, Dushasana was there, Karna was there. All Karna, Dushasana, everybody ran away. And but somehow Duryodhana got caught. So when the Gandharvas are celestial beings and they are far more powerful than human beings. So they very easily defeated Karna, Dushasana, all these people, and they all ran away from the battlefield. Actually, Kshatriya is not supposed to run away. But these people, they ran away in a cowardly way. Duryodhana somehow got trapped. So the Gandharvas captured Duryodhana and made him a prisoner of war, POW. So the news immediately reached the Pandavas. And so when the news reached the Pandavas, Bhima said, very good. What achievement we could have done with great difficulty and big number of army and all that, Gandharvas have easily done. Our goal is accomplished. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj told him, no, don't tell like that. He is in distress. Poor fellow is in danger of losing his life. After all, he is part of the Kaurava dynasty. We are also part of the same dynasty. It is a great loss of honor for us. And some members of the army, of the Kaurava army, had gone to Yudhishthira Maharaj seeking, somehow please save Duryodhana. So he said, Yudhishthira Maharaj said, they have come seeking our protection. So we as Kshatriyas, we cannot refuse them. So he told Bhima and Arjuna, both of you go and rescue Duryodhana. So both of them went and fought against the Gandharvas and released Duryodhana. So at that moment, Duryodhana felt great gratitude. And he told Arjuna, you have single-handedly defeated the Gandharvas and saved me. If you want anything, any favor you ask me, I am ready to give. Arjuna said, no, I don't have anything. You are safe. Yudhishthira Maharaj told that you should be released. You are released. Take care of yourself. And he let him go. So you see how the Pandavas are and how the Kauravas are, how Duryodhana was. The Pandavas, they could have easily asked for the kingdom at that point of time. Give back our kingdom. But he did not ask. He said, we have given a promise that 12 years we will be in the forest. We will fulfill that. So Krishna reminded Arjuna, you remember that? He said, Arjuna said, yeah, I remember. So what to do? Why are you bringing that up now? So that favor Duryodhana had promised you. Now go to Duryodhana and ask him for the 5 arrows. So Arjuna said, okay. Krishna is telling, I'll do. Arjuna went to the camp of Duryodhana. Because although they were fighting as enemies during the daytime, evening times when the fighting stopped, they could freely intermingle. There was no restrictions on those. So Arjuna went to the camp of Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, Arjuna has come, sit down. He made him also sit. And then he said, yes, tell me Arjuna, why have you come here? Arjuna reminded him, you remember Gandharvas? Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm supposed to favor you, I'm supposed to give you one favor. So, you want anything now? You want the kingdom? I'm ready to give. So, Duryodhana was also, he wanted to keep his reputation. Tomorrow people should not say that he promised and he did not fulfill his promise. Although he got the kingdom by chala, by gambling, by cheating. But that cheating nobody can prove. But this somebody can easily point out. So he said, no, you want the kingdom, you take it. Arjuna said, no, I don't want the kingdom. If I take the kingdom like that from you, then people will say we were incapable of fighting with you. That's why we did this. So no, I don't want the kingdom like that. Then what do you want? 5 arrows. Duryodhana was like, oh my God, what will I do? So there was no choice. He went, picked up the 5 arrows and gave it to Arjuna. So Arjuna took the 5 arrows. Thank you, Duryodhana. Hare Krishna. And he came back. Mission accomplished. Now next day morning what happens? Next day morning, all the armies, both armies are assembled. Fight is about to start. And Bhishma Dev called Duryodhana. Duryodhana, where are you? Duryodhana was like, how do I go in front of Bhishma Dev? Now he's calling also. So very, with his head hanging, he came. Embarrassed way he came. Then Bhishma Dev said, where are you? So much I am searching for 5 arrows. Give. Where to start? The battle is going to start. Duryodhana was like, arrows, 5 arrows. Now what do I tell him? And Bhishma Dev, what are you waiting for? Give the arrows. No, fight has to start. Then Duryodhana told him, like this it happened. Then Bhishma Dev became very angry. What is this? How can they do like this? So I am taking another vow now. By the end of the day today, either Arjuna will be killed or Krishna has to lift arms. Meaning, it is impossible for anyone other than Krishna to protect Arjuna. That was his intention. And then Bhishma Dev went forth into the battlefield and he fought so valiantly that day with such fury that left, right and center, all the armies, the Pandava army was completely run aground, and then Arjuna is trying to fight with Bhishma Dev. And Arjuna is also not able to match Bhishma Dev's, the onslaught of Bhishma Dev's arrows. So finally the situation came that Arjuna is unable to withstand the arrows of Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev is fixing an arrow, next arrow is going to release. Arjuna will be killed. Now Krishna saw now what to do. One hand, Bhishma Dev is ready to kill Arjuna. But Krishna has assured Arjuna that as long as Krishna is protecting him, nobody can harm him. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. Krishna has already told. So Arjuna has to be protected. There are greater things to be achieved by Arjuna. So if Arjuna gets killed, Krishna's all plans will fail. On the other hand, Bhishma Dev has taken a vow that today at any cost Arjuna will be killed unless Krishna picks up arms. And Krishna himself has taken a vow that he will not pick up arms in the battlefield. Now what to do? Something has to happen. Either Arjuna has to get killed, which means Krishna's devotee gets vanquished. Or other option is Krishna protects Arjuna, breaks Bhishma Dev's promise. Now what will Krishna do? Krishna decided Bhishma Dev is also a great devotee of Krishna. He is a Mahajana, a great pure devotee. So Krishna said, I will not allow Arjuna to get killed, and I will not allow Bhishma Dev's vow also to be broken. I will break my vow. And so Krishna jumped down from the chariot, picked up one chariot wheel which was broken lying there, and rushed towards Bhishma Dev. And when he rushed forth towards Bhishma Dev, Arjuna, he said, Hare Krishna, you are breaking your vow. You should not break your vow. Arjuna also jumped down from the chariot. He went and held on to the legs of Krishna, saying that, no, I will not allow you to go. But Krishna was in such a mood, the huge chariot wheel he is raised above his head. Arjuna is holding him by the waist. Krishna dragged Arjuna also along. And he is not stopping, rushing forward towards Bhishma Dev. So you can imagine this scene. Krishna ready to break his vow, but not allowing his devotee's vow to be broken or his devotee to be killed. So Bhishma Dev, when he saw this, what was his reaction? So Bhishma Dev says later, of course, after he was defeated by Arjuna and all that, Bhishma Dev, after the battle of Kurukshetra got over, Bhishma Dev remembered this scene. And Bhishma Dev says that Swanigamam apahaya mat pratijna mritamadhikartum avapluto harihi. So this Krishna, what did he do? To keep my pratijna intact, mat pratijna mritamadhikartum, to keep my Bhishma Dev's, my means Bhishma Dev's, to keep his vow intact, mat pratijna mritamadhikartum, to keep Bhishma Dev's vow intact, Krishna broke his own vow. Swanigamam apahaya, he broke his own vow. And how did he come towards me? How did he come towards Bhishma Dev? Chaladgur haririvahantu mibham. Like a lion rushes forward to pounce upon an elephant and kill him, like that Krishna rushed towards me. And Bhishma Dev says, when I think of that scene, my heart gets filled with joy. Because Bhishma Dev is a great pure devotee. So the moment, he was not like Duryodhana. Although he had, by force of circumstances, he had to fight on the side of Duryodhana. But he was never in spirit with Duryodhana. So the moment he saw Krishna rushing forward like this, he dropped his bow, he dropped his arrows and said, Krishna, what greater fortune can I have than to be killed by you? I am ready, come. And at that moment the sun set. And sunset means the battle has to stop. Then Krishna also stopped in his tracks. He put down the chariot wheel. So Bhishma Dev also, he was also not killed. So in this way, Krishna managed to protect Bhishma Dev and protect his vow, protect Arjuna at the cost of his own vow. You see how Krishna is ready to break his own vow for the sake of his devotee. This is the love of Krishna. So, all through the Kurukshetra war, we can see how Krishna's dealings with his devotees are actually at the center of the whole Mahabharata. In fact, when we look at the fight between Bhishma Dev and Arjuna, although Bhishma Dev was apparently fighting in great anger, actually what was happening there was something else. Externally it looked like Bhishma Dev had got angry because of those 5 arrows being stolen and he was trying to kill Arjuna. But actually something else was happening. So that also Bhishma Dev explains when he is lying on the sarasaya, bed of arrows, and after the Kurukshetra war gets over, he explains. So Bhishma Dev says, Yudhi Turaga Rajo Vidumra Vishwa Kachalulita Shamavarya Alankritasye. He says, I remember Krishna in the middle of that battlefield. So in that middle of battlefield, what I was seeing, Bhishma Dev is explaining what he was seeing. What I was seeing, I did not see armies, I did not see soldiers, I did not see kings, I did not see any of those things. What I saw was only one thing. There was this chariot. On that chariot, Krishna was seated. Yudhi, in the whole battlefield, the only thing I saw was, in the battlefield, Krishna is sitting on that chariot. And Turaga Rajo Vidhumra Vishwakacha. Krishna's curly hair dropping down his face. And that curly hair is smeared with the dust rising from the hooves of the horses when they are running around. You see, the detail to which Bhishma Dev is looking at the face of Krishna. He is noticing how the dust is sitting on that curls of hair which are decorating Krishna's lotus face. And not only that, Shamavarya Alankritasya, there are sweat beads looking like pearls on the forehead of Krishna. So, this was the scene which was there in front of Bhishma Dev. Kunti Maharani. So, when Bhishma Dev and Arjuna were fighting, more than Arjuna, Bhishma Dev was enjoying. What was he enjoying? He was enjoying the view, the whole scene of Krishna sitting there driving the chariot. And Arjuna was able to see only the backside of Krishna. Bhishma Dev was directly in front of Krishna and seeing his lotus face. And Bhishma Dev blanked out everything else. Krishna's face. And what was Bhishma doing and what were Arjuna doing? They were actually not fighting with each other. Mama nishita sharair vibidyamana tvachi vilasat kavache Krishna atma. Bhishma Dev says, Mama nishita sharair, my sharp arrows, they were piercing the armor of Krishna. Kavacha, the kavacha of Krishna that was being pierced by my arrows, and here and there were drops of blood coming out of Krishna. And so, Bhishma Dev was throwing his arrows, and in that mood of chivalry, let me see, I will pierce Krishna's armor with my arrows. And Arjuna was like, I will see how you will touch Krishna's body with your arrows. So both of them are fighting with Krishna in the center. Externally, when people are seeing, they are seeing Krishna and Arjuna and Bhishma are fighting to kill each other. But what was actually happening? Bhishma was trying to use his arrows to pierce Krishna, and Arjuna is trying to save Krishna from those arrows. So Bhishma Dev, when he says, when I remember that scene, my heart goes out to Krishna, and Krishna may never forget that scene, may always that scene be in front of my eyes. So this was actually what was going on the battlefield, and Bhishma Dev was conscious that he was far more blessed by Krishna because Krishna was directly facing him. Whereas Arjuna, although Krishna became Arjuna's charioteer, he was showing his back to Arjuna. So, all through the Mahabharata, if you see, externally it looks like, some war is going on, some kings are fighting, some property dispute is there. That's how it appears. But in reality, the whole Mahabharata is the exchange of Krishna, the exchange of rasas, exchange of relationship, the wonderful relationship between Krishna and his devotees. So, therefore, the whole intention of Vyasadeva in writing the Mahabharata was not to record some story about the property dispute between two kings. Those kind of disputes, so many are there in history. So many kings have fought so many wars over their kingdoms. So what is so special to write about Mahabharata? So the whole purpose of Vyasadeva writing Mahabharata was to record the wonderful exchanges between Krishna and his pure devotees, the Pandavas. In the midst of all that, he has intertwined so many other things so that it'll be very interesting, entertaining for the people to hear the pastimes of Krishna with his devotees. So, but unfortunately what happens is, we get lost in those other details and we forget to focus on the central aspect of the relationship between Krishna and his devotees, around which actually the Mahabharata is built. So, the real Mahabharata means the relationship between Krishna and his pure devotees, and how his pure devotees in every calamitous situation, they are constantly experiencing bliss in their relationship with Krishna. So externally it might appear that the Pandavas are undergoing so much distress. So in modern days what happens is, if we are very religious, we go to the temple or we go somewhere and then we have some religious faith, and some problem happens in our life, we lose our faith in God. Why did God do this to me? Why did this happen to my life? I was so religious, I was going to the temple, I was praying to God, still this distress came in my life. So I don't believe in God anymore. This is, sometimes we find this reaction among some people. But you look at the Pandavas. The Pandavas had to undergo so much distress. Kunti Maharani, in a very young age, she lost her husband. And then she had to raise her children when they were still very young. At that time, Duryodhana poisoned Bhima, tried to kill him. But Bhima somehow survived by Krishna's kripa. Krishna protected him. Then when they grew up, in the game of dice, they were cheated. And in that middle of that sabha, Draupadi was tried to be disrobed, but Krishna protected her honor. When the Pandavas went into forest in exile, there were so many Rakshasas who came to devour them, man-eaters. Rakshasas are man-eaters, like Hidimba, Bakasura and all these people. Krishna protected them there also. And then, after all this, when they had to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, such a big ocean of warriors, that also Krishna helped them to cross over. And after the battle of Kurukshetra got over, it didn't end there. Ashwatthama sent a Brahmastra to kill Parikshit, who was still within the womb of Uttara. There also Krishna protected. And after that, Ashwatthama released one more Brahmastra to kill Arjuna. There also Krishna protected. Draunyastratascha Hare Birakshita. So Krishna has protected the Pandavas all through this. So many calamities. So having gone through all these things, when we look at this, we see what horrible life the Pandavas were leading. So after all this, finally in the battle of Kurukshetra, they became victorious and Yudhishthira Maharaj was crowned the emperor of the world. And then after all this was done, Krishna said, now everything is settled, I am going back to Dwaraka. So when Krishna said he is going back to Dwaraka, Kunti Devi immediately came forward and she offered her prayers to Krishna. Because Kunti Maharani, although she was the aunt of Krishna, she knew the position of Krishna, that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So she prayed to Krishna, she listed all these things, all these problems that they had to face, all these distresses they had to undergo. So, Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanad Asad Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha Mride Aneka Maharathastro Draunyastratascha Hare Birakshita. All these calamities we have gone through, Krishna, and everywhere you have protected us. So, natural consequences, Kunti Maharani should next ask, please continue to protect us. Let at least now, let all the problems not come again in our life. This is natural, no? If we have come out of some great difficulty, we'll go and pray to God that God, okay, somehow you saved me, please ensure that no more such problem comes in life. Now Kunti Maharani goes to Krishna and then further she prays, Vipadaha santutaha shashvat tatra tatra. She says, Krishna, O Jagadguru, Krishna, please bless us that Vipadaha santutaha shashvat. Again and again, constantly in our life, let these kind of calamities keep happening without stop. Kunti Maharani is praying the exact opposite of what she should be praying. She should be praying, now calamities are over, please ensure no more. But she is saying, no, without stoppage, all the calamities should again and again keep coming in our life. Why is she asking like this? Why is she going to Krishna and asking like this? Because if you go and ask to Krishna, Krishna can easily fulfill. Suppose he really fulfills. So Kunti Maharani says that bhavato darshanam yat syad apunar bhava darshanam. Because whenever these calamities were befalling us, every time we would remember you and you would be there with us. So now we have got the throne, all problems solved, we will forget you and you will not come in front of us. And if as long as we are bhavato darshanam yat syad, as long as we are having darshan of your lotus face, apunar bhava darshanam, there is no more repeated birth and death within this material world. So Kunti Maharani is saying, we don't want a kingdom free of all distresses. We want repeated distress so that we can keep constantly seeing you. That is our real happiness. So externally the Pandavas underwent great distress. But in reality, what was happening? They were constantly enjoying the bliss of Krishna's presence, Krishna's protection. So you see how the whole Mahabharata is actually a great lesson for all of us, how to render devotional service to Krishna. What kind of surrender we have to give to Krishna. The Pandavas are the best examples of the kind of surrender which is expected of a devotee. That is why Krishna also told in the Bhagavad Gita that his highest instruction, Shruну me paramam vachaha. Krishna spoke so many things in the Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? He spoke, about Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, constitution of the soul, the constitution of the material nature. So many things Krishna spoke. At the end, Krishna told Arjuna that whatever I have spoken, you keep it aside. Shrinu me paramam vacha. Listen to my topmost instruction. What is that? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. Give up everything else and exclusively surrender unto me. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Become my devotee, constantly think of me and offer your obeisances to me and worship me. This is the highest instruction of Krishna. So, Krishna gave that highest instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata. And the Pandavas, by their practical life, embodied that instruction, the topmost instruction of Krishna. So, this is the real lesson to be learned from the Mahabharata. How we have to become devotees of Krishna, and every other thing is secondary. To serve Krishna and serve Krishna's interest is the highest dharma. Everything else is secondary. So this is the real crux, the real essence of the Mahabharata, and we can understand this confidential message of the Mahabharata only when we approach the Vaishnava Acharyas. Otherwise, we will simply think some property dispute, two brothers, they are fighting. Finally, one fellow, somebody had to lose in the battle, one fellow lost, another fellow got the throne. That's all. So, we have to understand that when we understand this principle, which is what the Mahabharata is trying to establish, then when we look at all the incidents which are happening in the Mahabharata, everything falls into place. Otherwise, it appears so many things are contradictory. You cannot really reconcile many events which happen in the Mahabharata. So, the conclusion is that we have all to become, we have to take inspiration from the life of the Pandavas, even in joy and in distress, even in the greatest distress in our life. We have to continue to render determinedly, we have to continue to render devotional service to Krishna. We have to chant our rounds, follow the regulative principles, follow the instructions of Prabhupada. Then, like the Pandavas, our life will also become greatly blessed. So I'll stop here. We have, I think, time up to 7:30. Am I right? So any questions anybody has, we can try to discuss. Anybody has any questions or any points to share? Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, why should Krishna let his army fight against him? So Krishna wanted to be just. He wanted to be just, number one. I'm giving the first superficial thing. The superficial reason is Krishna wanted to appear just because both Duryodhana and Arjuna had come to him seeking help. So he did not want to send either of them empty-handed. So especially a Kshatriya's duty is, anybody has approached him seeking his help or seeking his protection, he cannot refuse. So Krishna said, okay, I have to satisfy both of you. So this way I will do it. I will divide it into two. One side my army and one side myself alone. So that is the superficial reason. Another reason why Krishna did that is to establish how, for a devotee, all other considerations are immaterial. Krishna is his only shelter, and he will take shelter only of Krishna, not of material arrangements like army and all these things. Arjuna's dependence was not on all the army and his own prowess in battle. He was dependent on Krishna. So a devotee always depends on Krishna for his shelter, for his protection. He is not dependent on anyone else. And the third thing is, the deepest understanding we can have is, Krishna wanted to establish how, if we have Krishna's shelter, then no matter what the mightiest army is against us, nobody can touch even a hair on our body. Prabhupada gives a very common saying, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. If Krishna wants to protect someone, nobody can kill him. We can see in the life of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a small 5-year-old kid. And his father, Hiranyakashipu, terrorizing the whole universe. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful that Indra, Chandra, Vayu, everybody had surrendered to Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu had said, I don't need all you people. You vacate the sun, you vacate the moon, I will take care of their orbits, I will decide when the sun has to rise, when the sun has to set, I myself will manage. I don't need any of you. He was so powerful. And that Hiranyakashipu is wanting to kill Prahlad Maharaj. So what all he did, put Prahlad Maharaj in a pot of boiling oil, put him into a pit filled with venomous snakes, had elephants trample upon Prahlad Maharaj, threw him from the top of a hillock. When everything else failed, he called Prahlad Maharaj's mother and told her, give him poison with your hand. Such a cruel, evil fellow. He is telling the mother to give poison to the son. He did all this till Prahlad Maharaj was unharmed. Because Krishna had decided, Prahlad Maharaj, nobody can touch a hair on his body. So Holika, she sat on the fire, she had that cloak, because of which if she would wear that, fire would not affect her. So she sat on the fire and she kept Prahlad Maharaj on her lap, put the cloak around herself and said, I'll hold him tight, you set fire. And they set fire. What happened? The cloak flew away and fell on Prahlad Maharaj and she got burnt and he survived. So no matter what Hiranyakashipu did, he could not touch a hair on Prahlad Maharaj. So much so that, after a certain time, Hiranyakashipu started getting frightened. He started getting frightened of a 5-year-old boy. Where is this fellow getting his power from? I'm trying so many things, nothing is happening. So, Rakhe Krishna Mareke. If Krishna wants to protect, nobody can do anything. So, on the one side, Krishna, unarmed, is sitting with Arjuna. The entire Yadava army, Duryodhana, Karna, Bhishma, Drona, whoever comes, nobody can defeat them. Krishna, the moment Krishna gives shelter to someone, nobody can do anything about it. And on the reverse, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. If Krishna has decided somebody should be killed, nobody can protect him. We can see how Lord Ramachandra decided Ravana has to die. Moment Ramachandra decided Ravana has to die, Ravana is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So the battle between Rama and Ravana raged for so many days. All big warriors got killed. Finally, Ravana himself entered the battlefield. And finally, his Ratha was smashed, charioteer killed, all horses killed, his bow smashed, everything finished. And Ramachandra fitted the final arrow on his bow. He is about to release. And Ravana understood, now my time is up. So now what to do? How, I'm going to die. How can I save myself? Then he remembered Lord Shiva and he started calling out, "Oh Lord Shiva, Shankara, Mahadeva, protect me." There in Kailasa, Lord Shiva was sitting with Parvati Devi. And Ravana's cry reached up to Kailasa. And Lord Shiva was sitting with Parvati Devi. Lord Shiva was silent, unmoved. Parvati Devi looked at him. "You're not able to hear? What? Ravana calling? I am able to hear. What are you sitting? Do something, no?" Parvati Devi is the wife of Lord Shiva, so she has that freedom, right? Do something, no? What you are sitting quietly? Your devotee is crying. He is about to be killed. Do something, no? You are sitting idly. Lord Shiva looked at her and he said, "Ramachandra has decided to kill Ravana. What will I do in between? Nothing I can do." She kept quiet and Ravana was killed. So even Lord Shiva cannot protect someone if Krishna has decided that somebody has to be killed. Therefore, Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe ke. So, Krishna, and another reason why Krishna said he will not lift any weapon is because Krishna wanted to show that his will is supreme. Krishna has decided Pandavas should be protected, that's enough. Krishna doesn't have to lift any weapon. The whole material universe will align itself to Krishna's will. So therefore, Krishna's will is supreme above everything else. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. There is nobody equal to him or above him. Mat samasya abhedikasna na drishyate. There is nobody equal to or above Krishna. And therefore, Krishna's another name is Asama Urdhva. Asama Urdhva. Sama means equal, Urdhva means superior. There is nobody equal to Krishna, there is nobody above him. So he is Asama Urdhva. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, there is no truth superior to me. So, when so Krishna wanted to establish this also. So Krishna told that in the Bhagavad Gita. If Krishna had only told, people would say, Krishna simply is talking something that he is the supreme. But no, you see, Krishna displayed also. Without lifting a weapon, he finished all the entire Kaurava army. So these are some of the reasons for Krishna's. When Krishna does something, he achieves multiple purposes with that. So, by one act of dividing the Yadava army and Krishna himself personally on the other, Krishna achieved many purposes. That's how we understand. Is that okay? Yes, please.
So, after the war is finished, after the war is finished, we see some passages where the Pandavas, even though they had fought like a just war, they are beset with guilt and they do some acts to of repentance.
Atone.
Atonement, right? So, what was Krishna's stance on this? Like, why should you atone, like when you participated in a just war?
To set an example for the public that even if you are killing in a dharma yuddha, still the sinful reaction will come. So they have to atone for it, not only for their own purification, but also to set an example for the general mass of people. So that was the reason. Also, one more reason is when at the end of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we see how Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling very guilty that just for me so many people have been killed. So at that time, what happened? Vyasadeva came and spoke to Yudhishthira that no, that's not right. You don't have any need to be guilty. What you did was absolutely right. He gave him so many understanding from the Vedas and all that. Yudhishthira Maharaj was convinced. No. I have done a great wrong. Krishna himself sat with Yudhishthira Maharaj and explained to him how he was not wrong. Yudhishthira Maharaj was not convinced. Then Krishna told, okay, let us go to Bhishma Dev. He is still there. He was still lying on the bed of the arrows. Let us go to him. And so they all went to Bhishma Dev, and the Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj put forth his feeling of guilt to Bhishma Dev. Then Bhishma Dev explained to him different aspects of dharma, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj was pacified that yes, I am not really guilty. So even Krishna could not convince Yudhishthira Maharaj. Why? So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he wants to convince someone, it is not, the person cannot be not convinced. Impossible. So Krishna did not want Arjuna to be convinced even by his words. Why? Because he wanted that everyone should go to Bhishma, everybody should hear from Bhishma, and Bhishma's words should convince Yudhishthira, then everybody will recognize the greatness of Bhishma Dev. Because that's a characteristic of Krishna. Krishna does not want to take the credit himself. He wants that his devotees should take all the credit. That's the nature of Krishna. That is why Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the 10th, 11th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that already the Kaurava army is finished. Nimitta matra bhava savya sachin. Now you have to simply become an instrument and you take all the credit that you won the battle. That is what I want. So that is Krishna's nature. Krishna wants to give the credit to his devotees. Therefore, he by his will, Yudhishthira Maharaj fell into a feeling of guilt and he could not be convinced by anybody, and it was Bhishma Dev's words which finally satisfied him. So again, Krishna achieves many things by a single act. Sets an example to the general mass of people and shows the character of Yudhishthira Maharaj. That even after winning over the battle, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not gloating. We won, success, we defeated Duryodhana. That was not at all Yudhishthira Maharaj's mood. Because that is the quality of a pure devotee. A devotee is always compassionate. He never likes that a living entity should be put to distress. Paradukha dukkhi. This is the characteristic of a pure devotee. When he sees another living entity distressed, he feels unhappy. Like Prahlad Maharaj himself tells Narasimha, Naivodvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas. So he told Narasimha that I am not worried about crossing over this ocean of birth and death. I have no worry for myself. Because Tvadvirya gayana magna chittaha. I am constantly immersed in remembering your holy name and your pastimes and your qualities. That's enough for me. But when I look at all these people who are in this material world, struggling against the forces of nature, undergoing repeated birth and death, disease, old age, adhyatmika klesha, adibhautika klesha, adidaivika klesha. When I look at all these things, my heart cries for them. So, paradukha dukhi is a character, is a quality of a pure devotee. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj saw so many living entities afflicted, naturally, out of compassion, he felt, I am the cause. Actually, he was not the cause. Like Krishna already told him, the choice of whether to go to war or not, Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, is not your choice. It is the choice of Dhritarashtra. So it was Dhritarashtra's choice actually to go to war. The Pandavas went with a peace proposal. They said 5 villages. Not even Hastinapura, Indraprastha you give. Indraprastha also, no problem. You don't want to give 5 villages. Duryodhana chose war. So, when we look at all these things, we see how, Krishna, he had multiple purposes to fulfill. And so, therefore, by his will, Yudhishthira felt guilty, and some atonement also they did because they wanted to set an example for the common mass of people. Yes, please.
So there is a question on Zoom. This is, since that the Pandavas are devotees of Krishna,
yes,
Krishna had thought about it. Krishna might have prevented the Pandavas from experiencing all of these problems and prevented the battle altogether.
Yeah.
Is there a purpose behind all of this?
So, this question arises. It's a natural question that arises. Krishna is the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead, omniscient. He could have very easily prevented the war. Similarly, when Prahlad Maharaj was being tortured by his father Hiranyakashipu, Krishna need not have allowed Prahlad Maharaj to undergo all that torture. In the very beginning itself, he could have killed Hiranyakashipu, no? Why wait for Prahlad Maharaj to undergo so much torture and then finally, after all, then kill Hiranyakashipu? Beginning itself, he could have killed him. So, actually, Krishna wants his devotees to be glorified. Today, we all speak about Prahlad Maharaj. Why? because he underwent so much tribulation, despite all that, he remained a staunch devotee of Krishna. He never deviated. His father was telling him what? His father was going on telling him, give up this devotion to Vishnu. No, that's all. No other fight between you and me. You are my son and I am your father. I have a lot of love and affection for him. Only one thing, give up Vishnu. But what was Prahlad Maharaj saying? Hitvatmapatam grahamandakupam. Oh my dear father, you have fallen into the deep, dark well of material life of sense gratification. Hitvapapatam grahamandakupam vanogatam yad harimashriyeta. Take sannyas, go to the forest, give up all this ruling over Swarga and all that, give up all this. Go to the forest, take sannyas and harimashriyeta, take shelter of the lotus feet of Hari. And Hiranyakashipu was exploding with anger. Because for him, Vishnu is his greatest enemy, because Hiranyaksha was, his own brother was killed by Varahadev, Vishnu. So, you see how we glorify Prahlad Maharaj, because despite all the tribulations that he had to undergo, he remained unshaken in his conviction and in his devotion to Krishna, and he was fearless, totally fearless. In fact, when Hiranyakashipu told his wife, administer poison to your son, how will mother give poison to the son? She was crying, holding the glass in her hand of that poison. Then Prahlad Maharaj looked at her and he said, if you don't give me that poison, Hiranyakashipu will kill you. So better I drink the poison. He took the poison from her hand and he drank it. Fearless and full conviction. Krishna is there, he will protect whatever happens. So, if Hiranyakashipu had not put Prahlad Maharaj through all the torture, how will we know Prahlad Maharaj's character? Today we know Prahlad Maharaj's character because all this happened. Similarly, the Pandavas' staunch faith in Krishna and their remaining unshaken and fearless in the midst of all these calamities, how would we have known if Krishna in the beginning itself, he had prevented everything? Then nobody would have spoken about Pandavas at all. So Krishna's intention is always the people should look at the devotees and they should extol their qualities. So therefore, a person's qualities are demonstrated in times of great distress. When everything is fine, everything is happy, you don't know the person's real character. So it is in times of difficulty that you know how whether the person's character is a strong one or it is a weak one. So when Pandavas went through all these tribulations, but they remained firm, rooted in dharma and their devotion to Krishna, that is glorified. So Krishna wants to glorify his devotees and also set an example for all the people. How in face of all kinds of reverses in life, we have to remain firm in our devotional service to Krishna. So this message Krishna wanted to convey, and therefore Krishna made the Pandavas his instruments. To spread the Krishna's message, Krishna wants some instruments. That is why Krishna told Arjuna, Nimitta matra bhava savyasachin, please become my instrument and fulfill the purpose of my descent into this material world. So Krishna has descended personally into this material world to set an example, along with his devotees, the Pandavas, to set an example for all of us. The whole pastime of Mahabharata and all that, Krishna did not make the Pandavas undergo all the tribulation for his own pleasure. Because he has got some sadistic pleasure. The Pandavas are undergoing distress, I am happy. No. There is no such thing in Krishna's heart. Krishna did all this for all of us. The Pandavas undertook so much tribulation for all of us to show an example that this is how we have to be firmly rooted in Krishna's devotional service. Krishna will protect us, Krishna will take us back to Godhead, Krishna will purify our hearts, and Krishna will take care of us. If we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, giving up everything else. So this is for us that Krishna has enacted this whole pastime of the Mahabharata. Okay? I hope that answers the thing. It's already 7:25. So I think we'll stop here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. I just want to take the opportunity to thank His Grace Suvyakta Narasimha Prabhu. He has taken time out of his very vast responsibilities and come to spend time with us today. So we are very thankful to him. I didn't get a chance to introduce Prabhu in the beginning. For many of you are new over here, I'll just give a little introduction. Suvyakta Narasimha Prabhu is one of our very senior Vaishnavas in our ISKCON Bangalore group of temples. He's the member of the Governing Body Commission, which is the highest body that administers the, following the different principles that Srila Prabhupada laid. He's been a devotee for many decades, serving in very responsible roles across different temples all over the world. He was the vice president of our Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir project, where a very big temple is being built for almost 13 years. He's also now the president of our Chennai temple, where again another big project is underway. So a big round of applause and a big Haribol for Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
So I wish to thank Vikram Krishna Prabhu for giving the opportunity, inviting me here and giving this opportunity. Actually my visit was not scheduled here. Vikram Krishna Prabhu called me at the last moment and he said, please come. And so he invited, so that's how I came. So I wish to express my gratitude to Vikram Prabhu and to all the devotees here. So for giving me the opportunity and to come and share a few of my thoughts. I hope it will be of benefit to all of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll have Kirtan now. You can stay for Kirtan for a few minutes, and if somebody is in a hurry, they can have prasadam as well. We'll have Kirtan for a few minutes now.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll just do some Kirtan for a few minutes. So we request all the devotees to turn towards Krishna Balram and participate in the Kirtan and enjoy the Kirtan. Jai Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone chant together. Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Everyone chant loudly and clap together.
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone chant together loudly and clap.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Everyone chant together loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram.
Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srinivas Govind ki jai, Shri Prahlad Narasimha Dev Bhagwan ki jai, Hare Naam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. So now we'll be serving the prasadam. So we have just quick announcement. So on this coming Monday, we are celebrating a wonderful festival, which is marked as the appearance day of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the inaugurator of this Sankirtan movement. So this festival is famous as Gaur Purnima. So we'll be celebrating on Monday evening, starting at 6:30. We'll be doing a very grand abhishekam for the Lordships, Gaur Nitai, followed by bhajan kirtans, and we'll get to hear about the significance of the festival, and then we'll be serving the dinner prasadam for everyone. So you're all invited with your friends and family. You can share and spread the word and get more and more people and attend the festival and receive the blessings of the Lord. And those who are the participants of Gita Life, which we have every Saturday evening. So today, because this was the special session planned, so we'll be resuming our Gita Life sessions from the next Saturday. And some of you might be new to this Gita Life, so you can inquire more about what is this Gita Life program. So this is the program, is the series of 6 sessions. Through those 6 sessions, we are giving the important concepts from Bhagavad Gita. It's a gist of the whole Bhagavad Gita through 6 sessions. So those who are not aware, you can find more details, or volunteers can help you. And you can also sign up for that. Thank you. Now we'll be serving the prasadam in the prasadam hall. So please proceed for the prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Jagadam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanikanstam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.